Hello everyone, and welcome to One Control Report Podcast, episode 15. I'm here, Benjamin Yoder, Colian, your singular host here. Hi, I'm here to talk to you about video games. That's what I talk about because everything else in the world is pretty not fun to talk about. I mean, there's plenty that's fun to talk about, but like, I started listening to politics again in the last year, and it's a mess. No matter what side you're on, it's a mess. If you're left, right, whatever. Bleh. It's like part of me just wants to shut it all out, but I should probably be an adult and listen to it and understand. I think you either got to go one way or the other. You either got to invest yourself in so you know what's going on, but also be able to do the research so you can, make your own opinions, not just listen to a bunch of mottos and stuff like that. Or you just need to get out completely, which sucks too. But ignorance is bliss, and I'm sure there will be points in my lifetime, where I shut out politics again. It's just very tiring. Anyways, this is not about politics. This is about video games, so here we are. I'm a new man. I beat Final Fantasy XI. I don't know what to do with my life now. I started Final Fantasy XI back in 2003, and I stopped playing in 2008. But I always had this lingering regret about not having finished a lot of the story in that game. I finished the main part of the Final Fantasy XI story, but then I got stuck on the final mission for Rise of the Zilart, Chains of Promathia, Treasures of Argon, and then I also had gotten about halfway through Wings of the Goddess. And then at Wings of the Goddess I quit, and they released 3 more story add-ons. Then they released Secrets of Adoulin, and then Rhapsodies. So finally, sometime after Final Fantasy XIV came out and then had its successful relaunch, I was like, this game is probably not going to be around forever. And then they announced the plans to do a mobile version of Final Fantasy XI, 2 mobile versions of Final Fantasy XI. And I was like, oh, I need the PC version of Final Fantasy XI. I need to do what I need to do to not feel regret when it's over. So I spent 2.5 years going through the story of that game, rewatching all the cutscenes, and then finishing those last missions I never beat. And then halfway through, I decided, I'm just going to beat the whole game because Final Fantasy XI actually has an ending. So I went through, and I beat it all. And now I feel a little empty inside because I've been playing this game off and on for 15 years. In the last 2.5 years, I've been going through the story. But I'll be okay. I'll live. I will play that Final Fantasy XI mobile game well. So, actually, while we're on the topic, let's talk about Final Fantasy XI mobiles. So there's it's a little confusing. There's 2 Final Fantasy XI mobile projects. There's Final Fantasy XI Grandmasters, and then there's Final Fantasy XI, I think it's just called Final Fantasy XI Mobile. So I'm going to start talking about the one that's actually not out yet, called Final Fantasy XI Mobile. And that's not only an HD remake of Final Fantasy XI, it's more of a reimagining of Final Fantasy XI for mobile MMO space. Both of these games are really, but this one seems much more faithful to the original Final Fantasy XI. It's as far as I can tell, it looks like a fully 3D game with spaces you can explore, and you have a character running around that space and doing MMO stuff, and it's running in Unreal Engine 4, and it looks pretty good from what we have seen in the game. There's been very few screenshots. I think there might be only 2 screenshots, 3 maybe. It's being worked on by Nexon, and this is the one that supposedly is coming out in America. I can't quite remember where I heard that. Maybe it was just speculation. But anyways, so I'm looking forward to this game, and I bought a good phone almost specifically for it, which I feel bad for. I'm like one of those Facebook ads. I bought my iPhone for this game or something like that. That's stupid. I hate those Facebook ads. So there's that game, and it's supposedly coming out later this year. I'm hoping to see more at Tokyo Game Show. That's where a lot of mobile games show up at, and so Final Fantasy XI Mobile would be pretty fitting for that. Nexon mentioned it in one of their more recent conferences or investor meetings that it's still set for 2017, at least the fiscal 2017. So. And then, as I mentioned earlier, there's actually another version of Final Fantasy XI Mobile called Final Fantasy Grandmasters. And this is like a chibi, like, I would say not even like a remake or anything like that, but like a completely different reimagining of what Final Fantasy XI is. And it's inspired by Final Fantasy XI more than anything. It's like this isometric top-down RPG game where you roll to get, like, the mobile game, so it has gacha mechanics. You roll to get gear, and that gear has like abilities attached to it. And so you level your job normally as you would in Final Fantasy XI. You also have sub job options that you can level a sub job to equip as like a secondary portion to your job. But most of your abilities come from the weapons in the game. So you get weapons and armor, and I think the armor has like stats like haste and stuff like that on it, where the weapons have skills like fast blade, cyclone, things like that. And you run around this little world, and you do quests, and they're incredibly simple quests. They're almost always kill 10 of these things. It's the standard MMO, grind through this thing, collect this many of this item. But the areas, while instanced to some extent, they put at least like 20 or 30 people in that same area with you to do quests. And while you can't party up with each other, you can all join the same encounter, up to 4 people rather. So up to 4 people can join the same encounter. And it definitely gave me a lot of like memories and vibes from like old Final Fantasy XI, like 2005 or before Final Fantasy XI. There's a lot of waiting around trying to get other people to help you to do stuff, and it's not like old Final Fantasy XI where it's like I'm gonna sit and wait in my mog house for 3 hours for a party. But it is there is a level of patience that comes with it, and if your luck doesn't end well, and there's not anyone else in the same area as you, you just gotta, wait it out till the next day. And I'd say that's probably in most places a counterintuitive mechanic that doesn't seem like a positive. But for a game that's trying to scratch the itch of like the nostalgia of Final Fantasy XI, I think it's appropriate in this case. At least I didn't seem to mind it too much when just being like to put my phone down and then do other stuff while I waited for someone to come and help me kill things. But in that case, if you're playing, I'm not a big phone guy, so I'm not really sure how people use their phones normally to play these games. I generally will still just sit down and put a lot of time into these games, at least as long as they'll allow me if there's a stamina system, which in Grandmasters, last time I played it, there wasn't a stamina system. But I just kind of set it on my desk and played it in the background while I did other stuff, versus maybe like I think playing it in a like public environment where you're just sitting there trying to fill some time. It might not be the best experience. But I'm not really familiar with mobile MMOs in general, and so I really need to get a further understanding of that. I'm not sure if I'll do anything before Final Fantasy XI Mobile comes out. We'll see what happens at Tokyo Game Show, if they show off anything and like have a release date for it, if it comes to America. But yeah, we'll see. So if you are a Final Fantasy XI fan, there's some stuff coming, hopefully. Otherwise, I have no confidence in Final Fantasy XI, the PC game, staying up anytime for any extended period of time from here on out. But we'll see. EverQuest is still online, so hey. Well, speaking of Square Enix, we actually have another thing that I'm very excited about. A new Fortune Street, or Itadaki Street. It's a long-running series of virtual board games like Mario Party, kind of. Where it's in a lot of ways it's essentially Monopoly. There's a lot of investing money in stocks and things like that. I'm doing a really bad job of explaining this, so let's start over. So Itadaki Street is this big Square Enix like Dragon Quest and nowadays crossover Final Fantasy series where you play as little chibi Dragon Quest Final Fantasy characters running around the board, collecting what are those things called on cards, like the spade, the heart, the clover, and the diamond, and you're collecting those and you're getting money, and you have to use that money to invest in certain districts of the map. And when you invest in districts, you can also invest on property in those districts. And it's a very simple game at first when you look at it originally, but once you get deeper in, there's a ton of strategy in there. There's a lot of investing money in markets that you're not even involved in, but you got to recognize the potential of it and have it, build your funds up. So the version I mainly played was the Wii version, and I didn't play a lot of it, to be honest. The problem with the Wii version, and maybe the other versions, I haven't played them, is that they're long games. It's like, I remember starting at like 8 o'clock to play a game of Fortune Street, and then we wouldn't be done till 1 or 2 in the morning. It's ridiculously long. And there's no save feature in the Wii version for local multiplayer, which is ridiculous. So I played that version that was on the Wii that had Mario characters and Dragon Quest characters rather than Final Fantasy characters. I really liked it. It's just, that big time consumption, and then needing 3 other people to also be willing to dump that amount of time into Fortune Street. And there's a lot of layers to that game that I never even really got to even touch on. There's like different types of buildings you can build, and like you can change what a space does in terms of like before the match you can say if this can be a property or if it's going to be like a free build space where you can build your own building with certain traits and things like that. But yeah, it's a fantastic board game that's like a step above like the brain dead nature of Mario Party, but maybe the time commitment is too long. And I'm not saying they should shorten it. I should say in terms of like the Wii version of Fortune Street, there should have been more consideration to people's time, at least allowing like a save feature to return to a game, things like that. It was pretty ridiculous. So this new one's for the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation Vita, and instead of Mario characters, it's Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy characters. I think it comes out this year, so it's fairly soon in Japan. But as far as I know, there's been no announced release date for America, unfortunately. Fortune Street on the Wii was the only one that came out here, and let me double check, but I'm pretty sure only that Nintendo published it. So let me see. Fortune Street. We're just gonna go to Wikipedia, the greatest resource of 100% accurate video game news in the world. So it doesn't specify here who published it where, but I'm going to guess that the Wii version was published by Nintendo in America. And so it does make me worry that maybe Nintendo has some kind of stake in the Fortune Street name at the very least. Hopefully no like actual stake in what the series is outside of Japan. But we'll see. Like, I would love for the game to come out here. I don't know if it will, but we'll see. Well, now that I think about it, there's actually a Fortune Street on mobile devices that I think actually did officially come out here. So maybe that wipes away my concerns. But I hope it comes out here. I hope it has online play, and I hope it's a lot more player friendly in terms of time, because 5+ hours to play a game. Maybe I was just playing it slow, but man, it was a huge time commitment, but really fun. So I think we're just gonna go ahead and roll over to our fortune cookie section. Hopefully we won't get another Square Enix game. I've talked all about Square Enix today. I've talked about technically 4 Square Enix games. So I'm gonna go ahead. And if you don't know what this is, I'm basically opening a random game in my collection, and we're going to talk about it using like a randomizer. I need to take out games that I have not played, because I can't talk about a game I have not played. Okay, well, we got Gone Home for PC. It's okay, so I don't think anyone's unaware of what Gone Home is. It's an indie game for PC that came out quite a while ago. Basically, you walk around and there's like a story going on with your sister, talking about some garbage. I don't know, like I don't have a problem with walking simulators. I think like I played the Stanley Parable, I think that's fine, and then I think Shadow of Destiny for the PlayStation 2 is essentially a walking simulator as well, and I really like both of those games. But the problem with Gone Home is it's just the tone and the story and characters just don't have any relevance to me. I know people made a big deal because it was like the biggest. Maybe I'm wrong, but I remember at the time the biggest big deal. And spoilers for Gone Home. I'll give you 1 second, 2 second, 3 second. All right, I'm gonna spoil it real quick. Your sister is lesbian. I remember people making a big deal about that, and I get it. I guess like having, I guess what you would call socially sensitive portrayals of people who are gay and lesbian is not particularly the video game's strongest suit at times, or any media's strongest suit at times, I would say. But it just didn't really matter that much to me. I don't really think that her being a lesbian even really affects the story in any way, which is probably good. You know, it didn't. I don't remember it really having an impact, and it probably shouldn't in a lot of ways. But yeah, what I remember most about Gone Home is just pulling everything out of the fridge, because you can pick up everything in that game, which is the best part of that game. Is you can pick up everything in that game, and you can sit there and look at it if you want, or you can just throw that stuff on the floor and just make a huge mess out of your parents' house, and then be like, yeah, this is my doing, this is my work. So I don't know if I really have anything else to say about Gone Home. Walking simulators aren't bad, and I don't think Gone Home is a bad game. I just think that the subject matter about some girl who is like going through some teen growing up issue things just doesn't really do anything for me. Yeah, it's a story, all right. I do have a friend that really likes the style of the game. He likes the music. There's like a bunch of like tapes you can put into tape players and listen to some music that's in there. I didn't like the music, so I kind of stopped listening to it much. But you know, I think it's cool if you're into that. And it's a short game. It's kind of pricey. I'm sure you can get it on sale for whatever cheap price now, but it's a short game at the very least. So if you do want to go into Gone Home, you can kind of, you know, poke your face around and you won't spend much time on it. I would recommend it, actually. Maybe look into the general themes of the story after I just spoiled parts of it for you. But look into like the general themes of the story and see if it's something for you, because it's not a bad game. It's just not for me for the most part. Other than being able to pick stuff up. I want to throw all that fridge meat on the floor and then close the fridge door and then leave and then let my parents find it later. Be like, what is this fucking rotten meat doing on the floor? Oh my god. So, I feel like that was a bad pick. Hopefully that was at least something of interesting you got something interesting out of that. It's hard for me with games I don't particularly care about. And I think you're going to see with a lot of these games is that generally the more successful, more popular a game is, the less interesting things I have to say about it, unless I just have like a very drastic differing opinion. So that's going to do it for this week. I think I might use kind of this end section to kind of highlight things I'm doing in terms of publishing stuff, although it's not like it's hard to follow me. I have a website, cooliansbox.wordpress.com, which is a Coolians box. So, yeah, so this week I put out last week I put out a Spectrobes Origins video, which kind of compares that game to a halfway point between Zelda and Pokemon, and that's a cute and fun game. I highly recommend it for anyone who doesn't need like some crazy polished, action adventure game, and maybe has like a soft spot for stuff like kids TV shows or like something like things that's just more adolescent style in general in terms of like Mega Man Legends and things like that. There's definitely a lot to like in Spectre of Origins. It's just a little repetitive, and in the video I mentioned there's some UI issues that drag the game down. But for what it is, it's incredibly ambitious. I'm sad that they're not going to make another. I wish they did, because I would like them to fix the issues that they had. But yeah, I actually have one of the DS games as well. Beyond the Portal? The second one is the second DS game. I do not own the first DS game. But I would like to get to those someday, but we'll see. They're on the list of forever list of games. Let me look at what I have. I haven't updated my backlog 100%, but got about 330 games I gotta beat. So I would say I probably have over 330 games to beat somewhere in my collection. I'm missing some stuff. And then this week I had a video or a article go up about The Legend of Zelda: Oracle of Ages. It's a really fun Zelda game, 2D Zelda game. I'm not a big 2D Zelda fan, and I really like Oracle of Ages. It'd be the one that I'd recommend the most, outside of maybe A Link Between Worlds. I'm not really sure which one I'd recommend more, but A Link Between Worlds is a disruptive game in that series, kind of like Breath of the Wild. So, which creates its own problems in a lot of ways. But yeah, it's about Oracle of Ages and the Seed Shooter and the Switch Hook. Two specific items that I think drastically change the puzzle solving in 2D Zelda games in a way that's good, but has still required minimal effort on the developer's part. So that's going to be it for this week. Thank you guys for listening. I'm trying a new microphone position, so we'll see if it's better, because last time there's like a bunch of vibration that I kept hearing, maybe from the spit card being too close. I think it might be too close again, but next week I'll try further away. The problem is I disassemble this thing every time because it's just so big and in the way, and I use most of my desk space. So so when I put it back, I don't quite know exactly where it was set up last time. So that's gonna be it though. Thank you guys very much. You guys have a great week.